Hello and welcome to The Reasons I'm Broke. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
We've got a good amount of comics this week. I'm going to have Kelly start it off.
First, we have Legends of the Dark Knight, number 4. This has 2 different stories in it. What were your thoughts?
This one was really interesting because it's mainly focused on the Joker. I think the last one, too, there was a lot of Joker in it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much you see how the Joker can twist someone's mind, and you see it all from his perspective up until the big reveal at the end when Batman gets in there and saves him.
Yep, I agree. It was interesting to see the Joker. I don't know that I particularly felt for the character that they presented, that you were supposed to really feel for him and be like, oh man, he went through all this and this is what he's become and he's trying to atone for that. I still, okay, it happened. Sucks for you, sir. You live in Gotham.
Yeah, now the backup story with Two-Face was really cool. I really enjoyed that one. Batman pretty much forces Two-Face to use the Harvey Dent side of his dual persona, and it's without the use of an operation or drug. It's all through kind of like a trick, a mental mind trick.
Right,
and
placebo effect.
Yeah, and he's trying to prove to Harvey Dent that he is stronger than Two-Face and that he can take over Two-Face and not let Two-Face be the main dominant mind in his body.
Right, that was interesting how they did that as well, how it starts out, you think it's someone kidnapping children, but it turns out to be that the doctor that did the surgery was the real victim, and it leads up to Two-Face. It was an interesting story. I'm still going to have to say this was my least favorite of the week, though.
Is this your pass of the week?
Yep, this is going to be my pass of the week. Just because that first story, I just did not feel for the guy.
Next we have Batman Detective Comics number 16. This one's written by John Layman, and it follows the last tie-in to the death of the family for Detective Comics. Pretty much the entire time, Gotham City is overrun with a bunch of criminals that are taking up the Joker persona, and they're forming up all these gangs, and it was very reminiscent of Batman Beyond Unlimited that we're actually reading as well, that's running, where the Jokers are taking over Gotham and blowing that up. This is on a less extreme level, but that does pretty much the exact same thing does happen in this.
Right, in this one it's not these people glorifying the Joker, it's the fact that the Joker brings out the dark side. It's that little push that they need to say, this is what I really want to cut somebody up. So now I have that little push. I'm going to do it. And it follows, Batman's trying to find a particular gang, because he says most of them, they're just little kids. You go and you go, hey, get back inside. And they break up. They're done. But this particular gang, they were called, do you remember the laugh? We'll find it. We'll put it in an annotation. But they're particularly bad. They're actually hurting people, trying to kill people, and Batman trying to find out more information about them.
The League of Smiles.
League of Smiles, there you go. And one particular kid and how he deals with that. In addition to that, we see more of the Emperor Penguin.
Yeah, this is the point at which they kind of give the Emperor Penguin that time to shine, and this is why this is actually going to be my pass of the week.
Really?
Is Detective Comics number 16, yeah, because while they can still flesh out the character of Emperor Penguin, and I think a lot of that is because of Death of the Family that he kind of hinders on the development side. They didn't do much with the character. The way that he controls the penguins, like gangs and all of that, is very weak. Like, he kills a couple guys in the table room, and that's it. And it's just so disappointing in my end.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Next, we have one of my favorite comics. I don't know if it's my pick of the week yet. Haven't told anybody, but Bravest Warriors number 4. This is continuing on the planet with the clowns, which Danny is terrified of.
Yep.
And they had just faced off against the big baddie, the Sadness is what she's called in the last one. And the first few pages, they all die.
Yeah.
Straight up, they all die.
Decapitated.
Yes, and then she plays with their skulls like puppets.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a really cool issue. And it continues the trend of leaving like editorial notes at the bottom. And I think now that we've seen more of the episodes for the Bravest Warriors, we kind of like the comics a little bit more. Mm-hmm. We kind of hear the voices. We're more familiar with the characters. It works to our favor. And I know the book's selling a lot more now than it did when it first started out. Right.
The show is hilarious as well, guys. We did see... we had a new episode that came out. Hilarious. We watched it, 3 or 4 times?
Yeah.
With that gas-powered stick.
Gas-powered stick!
Oh, this is just a big-ass stick. It did have a second story as well, where it's them in the Hollow John again. And they're playing a history game where they take bits of history and you have to fight against their biggest foes. So you have Benjamin Frankenstein,
Yeah.
which was my favorite. And you had Attila the Hun, whose weakness was you just give him a bloody nose. And he's like, oh, my weakness. And he's gone.
Yeah. That was a really good issue. I enjoyed it a lot. Not my pick of the week.
Not my pick of the week either, but it was it was a close second.
Now, keeping it with, not Adventure Time, but I guess Pendleton Ward. Adventure Time number 11. This one involves Finn, Jake, and Marceline actually going inside BMO and being alive in the video game.
Yep, they're running around playing a video game where you are a plumber and you have to save a prince who's been captured, but you are transported inside the prince, so you are beating up his guts trying to get out so that you can save the prince.
Yeah.
It was a really cute issue. I liked how they animated the 8-bit when they're actually inside BMO. That was really cute. You find out at the end BMO's acting really funny. He's going on a date with a coffee maker and he destroys it, and that's what's going to lead up, I guess, into the next arc. This was kind of a filler, but it was a good filler.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of setup. Most of the pages are just them playing the video games, and there's good references to video games that we know of, like Excitebike and Cubert. And the backup story, I don't think was substantial.
No, it was following Susan, who is also a human, and she's trying to be brave, like Finn is brave. And if you like her as a character, I guess it gives you a little more insight to who she is. I'm not really interested in her.
Yeah, I think number 12, Adventure Time number 12, will be much more interesting.
Exactly. But like I said, it's a filler, but it was a good filler. So definitely pick it up. Next we have The Superior Spider-Man number 1. I was looking forward to this very much after Spider-Man number 700, where you have Doc Ock inside Spider-Man's body now. I was kind of let down.
Me too. Only because of the ending. Because you do see Doc Ock as Spider-Man. He uses Spider-Man's powers effectively. He
to get Mary Jane.
Yeah, to get Mary Jane. Like, he spins up a web quicker, I think, than Peter Parker would have. He points out that a spider's speed is really quick. So
right, he has the equivalent speed of a spider. So he is very fast. He uses his genius to actually plant bugs on the bad guys to figure out where they're going to strike next, and then he goes ahead of them and sets up traps, I guess you would say, to be able to take them down.
Yeah, it's the new Sinister Six, and he's like, you guys aren't the Sinister Six. They'll call anyone the Sinister Six these days. But he takes them all down, and at the very end, there's a reveal. We're going to spoil it, because I do want to talk about it. Right before Doc Ock kills one of the villains, he's stopped by someone holding him back. And it's the ghost of Peter Parker, who says, I am Peter Parker, and I swear I'll find a way back.
Aww.
So it's like they already found a way to bring back Peter Parker, like, so quickly.
They didn't even wait to see how people would react. This was already written however long ago.
And we all knew Peter Parker was eventually going to come back. There's no permanent deaths in comic books. But I didn't want it to be this quick. I wanted this run, Doc Ock, to be Spider-Man for a good, give it 100 issues. I don't care. Like,
right.
Years and years.
I wanted to see a lot of development within Doc Ock of really, yeah, he says he knows what it means to be Spider-Man, but show us how he's discovering that even further. Not just with, oh, Mary Jane's in a skimpy dress. This is what it means to be Spider-Man. I would like to see him use his powers further as himself, stopping himself from killing the bad guys.
Yeah, there was a cool moment, too, where he did save a cop by risking his own life. So I hope we see more of that as it continues. But otherwise, number 1 was a bit of a disappointment.
It's kind of a letdown for me now, though, because yes, he saved the cop, but was it because of Peter Parker?
Yeah,
Did Peter Parker make him? Because Peter Parker was, I'm not going to let you kill anybody. So now when he doesn't kill anybody, we're always going to think it's Peter Parker, not Doc Ock transforming himself.
Yeah. So Peter Parker's main thing is going to be trying to get back. I'm hoping, I don't know if this will happen, that Peter can't get back and he'll eventually phase away from Doc Ock's body, or Doc Ock's mind, Peter Parker's body. It's all confusing. And then he's just Doc Ock continuing and kind of stopping himself on his own, like you were saying.
Right. It is a letdown, but I would still pick it up for this week.
And this is actually my pick of the week.
Oh, mine too.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Secret History of the Foot Clan, number 1. This is a mini-series, pretty much exactly what it says. Gives you the history of the Foot Clan, Shredder, all the ninjas behind that. And it ties into the present as well because the Turtles are trying to figure out more about Shredder.
Right, they're actually taking a history class where a lot of this history is being taught, and the Turtles are hiding up in the rafters, I guess you'd call it, hearing all about this. And I loved the setup for it. I love the art that they did. They made it like an old Japanese scroll, essentially, that you're reading. It was beautiful.
They even took liberties of changing the Turtles' headbands. Like, each one has a different pattern to the headband. If you see it on the cover, you can they kind of sort of show you how some of them have like little spikes underneath the eyes. Some of them are a little more simple, like Donatello's. And Donatello's still about like magic and still against it, which is awesome.
Yeah, because they're talking about magic. He's like, yeah, a lady can really transform into a fox. Sure, I believe that. It was a great issue, though. I was totally entranced from beginning to end. And I think it's going to lead to some great setup for the rest of the miniseries.
And that'll actually do it for new comics this week. Continuing our Justice League Unlimited comic book run, we read 4 more.
Yep. First, we have Justice League Unlimited. This is number 34. This begins with Superman, and you hear a voice from beyond that says exactly where you belong, on your knees. And I died laughing. But the premise is people are leaking out of the Phantom Zone, and against Batman's wishes, the Justice League's wishes, Superman sends himself to try and figure out why it's leaking and try and stop these people. But when he gets there, he has no powers, and Zod comes out and just starts like beating the crap out of him. And then you find out who's really behind everything.
Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Yep, your favorite guy.
He's pretty cool. Something significant about this issue is Zod never appeared in the animated series. And you do see him in the comic books. He's kind of rendered in that Bruce Timm style a little bit. Mm-hmm. But it was a little weird that he teamed up with Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Well, he gave him powers. People like that.
And you do have a little bit of Booster Gold. But the cool thing about this issue is, like, halfway through you find out that when Batman was trying to stop Superman from going, like, we were reading this, and you see Batman touch Superman's arm, and I'm like, oh, if that doesn't stop Superman, nothing will. He melts at Batman's touch. But you find out later that he was actually planting a little bat signal chip thing, tracker.
No, he planted the atom on him.
Oh, that's right.
He planted the atom with some kryptonite.
Yeah.
So that he could go and stop all the Kryptonians.
And at the right time, the atom comes out, and Superman can run around. So that was a really cool issue. I liked it.
It was. It was a really cool story.
We also read Justice League Unlimited number 37.
Batman being awesome.
Yeah, a lot of Batman in this. So, obviously, I was also a fan of this. You see him kind of spar with Hawkgirl and completely kicking her ass.
And she's like, oh, this is like what we used to do. He's like, no. And just
and tosses her. Deadman does run around in this book, too, a bit. I'm not a fan of Deadman. Mm-mm. He obviously possesses all people's bodies and runs around.
I'm personally not a fan of DC and when they bring the magic into what it is. I think it's more cohesive if this stuff could actually happen. Okay, he's really an alien, that could really happen. But when you pull in the magic, it takes it more from the realm of reality. But it was still a good episode. They meet with Karma herself, I guess.
Yeah. It's like the great spirit of the universe also.
Right, because they're trying to stop some guy's soul that's separated from his body. And the only way they can stop it is by meeting with this Karma lady. And she wants to know all about Batman because he's so mysterious and handsome. And so she invades his mind. And you have some really cool Batman moments from that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because she's like, Batman, your vengeful soul remains brilliant and pure. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. They really wrote Batman well in this.
They did. I did like the fact that she brought up, you're seeking vengeance, but you're not doing it for vengeful reasons, I guess, is essentially what she was saying. You're doing this to protect others. You're not doing this out of hate and spite.
Open your mind to me. No. Oh, stubborn Batman. Always cool.
But she does force herself in, and we see the moment again that made Batman Batman, and she stretched it for what felt like an eternity. And poor Batman, reliving his parents' death for forever.
Yeah, it had kind of a really good ending, though. Like, Hawkgirl was asking, so you asked Ram Makushna what she thought you were made of. I say you got yourself a soul made of tempered nth metal. I mean, reliving the moment of sorrow forever. And he's like, it's nothing. I do it all the time. And that's like the end of the book.
Once again, we see that Batman is constantly reliving that moment that made him Batman. He's so cool. Then we have Justice League Unlimited number 38. Flash and his woman, because he always gets women apparently. Giganta is her name, and she's going around Central City and just destroying things, but not taking any money, not doing any real damage, to try and get Flash's attention to ask him out. But Flash is totally oblivious, and he's like, oh, so you want to be a good guy now, right? And shenanigans ensue.
Pretty much makes her his sidekick. And when Flash actually does show interest in a different lady, that's when Giganta loses it, tries to kill both Flash and the reporter. And that's pretty much the story.
I did feel bad for Giganta in this, though, because Flash didn't even care that he upset her.
Yeah, at the very end of the story.
Yeah, because at the end, the reporter lady's like, oh, got to him first. And Flash is like, ah, ha, ha. I'm like, no, that's terrible. Poor Giganta. Yeah. Put herself out there. And this is what you do. No wonder she's evil.
So now we know that this is what happens, I guess, after Justice League Unlimited ends in that final episode when she kisses the Flash and says, call me sometime. Oh, well, this is what happened. She got arrested.
She lost her mind.
This one was really cool. This was the last Justice League Unlimited book we read. Justice League Unlimited number 39. Very Sherlock Holmes and Batman's involved. Mm-hmm. Very appropriate for that kind of thing.
Of course, it's a detective. What are you talking about?
And they keep talking. They keep like really sucking Batman's dick in this because they're like, "Oh man, I'm so smart, but I'm not the world's greatest detective." Like they're all sad about it.
Right? You have what's his name, Elastic Man. Mm-hmm. We're gonna call him Elastic Man. I don't know what his name is, but he stretches and he's annoying because he's like, "I'm a good detective too."
Let's go crack a case.
Right? He's very campy. And they're trying to find Gorilla City, which has gone missing, or invisible, whatever. And they teamed up with, I guess, the Gorilla City greatest detective, who's a little chimpanzee with a Sherlock Holmes hat. And Batman's the only one doing any work. He's like, I'm going to go disable this crap, and I'm going to come over here and do things. And Batman's the only one who does anything. And this other guy's like, I'm a good detective too. Doo-doo-doo.
And at one point he gets electrocuted and hurt. Mm-hmm. The little monkey's name is Bobo. He's totally fine, like he's just investigating. But Batman stops the one thing that electrocuted Elastic Man, as we're calling him. So he puts him up against a tree and he's like, I'd better deactivate the rest of these devices before we investigate further. You stay with Bobo and get some rest.
He's a baby.
And then Elastic Man goes, don't worry about it. He makes everyone feel that way.
Right, but you progress through the story, and just so you guys know how it ends, Bobo is actually Gorilla Grodd, who turned Gorilla City invisible to all gorillas.
And humans, yeah.
Yeah, to everyone except for birds.
Yeah.
I don't know, except for birds. So, and then he raised it off the ground. So Gorilla City is up in the air, and nobody can see or hear anything. So then Elastic Man has to go in and use his elastic powers. I don't know.
To deactivate, like, the invisible field.
Correct. Oh, and then Martian Manhunter shows up, which is so smart, because Batman's like, Martian Manhunter, you're going to stay invisible, and you're just going to walk around and watch, because I know this guy's Gorilla Grodd, and he's going to try to pull some shit.
Yeah, he makes an appearance right near the end. And
Plastic Man at the end, he's like, oh, I guess I really am a good detective. And Martian Manhunter is going to say something. And Batman's like, no, just let him have this moment.
Yeah.
Let him think he did something.
But we'll have more of those issues, like I said, next week when we actually finish off. Really excited for the next one. Joker on the cover is running around with Batman's cape and cowl and Harley Quinn like on his back. Something else that came out actually this week was Nintendo Force number 1. You can get it in print or digital, and digital is $4.99. Pretty expensive though if you get it in print. I think it's like $18
Oof.
For one issue. Now here's the thing about it is there are no ads, so they're not getting any help from advertisers, and you're also getting that, which is nice. You're not turning the pages and seeing this advertisement. I highly recommend Nintendo Force. I read this first issue. I'm gonna say it's better than Nintendo Power.
Wow.
Not only because you don't have any ads, their coverage is more up to date than if you would have gotten Nintendo Power. They can literally write this bitch up the night before they put it up, with really relevant information. They had like the Pokemon X and Y, which we're actually going to talk about next, already in there. Some pretty cool previews. They even had like Game of the Year type stuff in there. This issue had more content than Nintendo Power ever had, and a lot of it is set up like Nintendo Power. The layouts, you got the letters and the art at the very beginning also. And the digital version of it, which comes with the physical, if you buy the physical, you get both automatically. It has a really cool browser. Makes it pretty easy, actually, if you don't have like an iDevice or Android tablet to actually read the magazine on your computer or whatever, on your phone even. I think you could probably pull it up through an application. So I really recommend Nintendo Force. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be buying every physical issue at the $18 price. They're going to be talking about a subscription service before the second issue, so we should know in the next couple of weeks. But if it's that expensive, and it is, but if the subscription service doesn't save you that much, it's worth the $5 for the digital version. And a lot of people are putting up some coupon codes that you can buy, that you can use when you buy your magazine, which saves you 20%.
Coupon codes already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they're doing it through like a bigger website. It's not like their own thing, their own distributing thing. But print is expensive, so especially when you have no ads. Either way, support them in any way you can, because it's a really cool magazine. At $5 for an issue, it's not bad at all. And I know you really want to talk about Pokemon X and Y.
Ugh.
We're on opposite ends here.
We are absolutely on opposite ends. I think it's terrible. The next Pokemon game I play will be called Pokemon Apocalypse, and they will. I'm tired of new Pokemon. Give me my 150. Apocalypse, all the old new ones. 151.
I will say it was definitely a little too soon for 6th gen.
Yes.
I was expecting actually that remake to Ruby and Sapphire, which I wouldn't have bought.
I would have bought that one.
But I am actually going to get Pokemon Y.
No.
For anyone that didn't hear, it's completely 3D. No. Everything is rendered. That's the bad thing. No more charming, pixelated sprites.
You're swinging around on vines. You're Tarzan.
Well, in Black and White too, you slid down slides when you went in the gyms and stuff.
But that's different. You're in a gym.
And you were in a roller coaster.
No, and you went on the Ferris wheel when I went on that date with N. No. You're out in the wild swinging around on vines. No. You're not supposed to do work. Your Pokemon's supposed to do work. You don't go swimming. You go surfing on your Pokemon.
I think it's going to be fine.
I do not.
The fundamentals look exactly the same as any Pokemon game. And here's the argument I always make with everyone, is graphics do not make the game.
Yes.
And I will admit that I don't like the direction that the graphics took. I'm not a fan of the 3D rendering. I would have preferred if they just kept it at, even hand-drawn animation, the pixelated sprites. That would have been fine. I would have been completely happy if they did that forever. But at its core, it still looks like a regular Pokemon game. You can only move in 4 directions, up, down, left, right.
People are going to get such terrible headaches. You're not going to be able... Right now, I can play Pokemon for 3-4 hours, which I did on my day off, and be fine. With that kind of animation, where they try to make it 3D, and then you throw the 3D on top of that, and then how they're making the Pokemon battles where you're jumping around so much with all the background and the busyness... People are going to get sick. I would get sick.
I would just turn off the 3D. Problem
But
solved.
You still have... Like when I played my Harvest Moon, the new one. It's the same kind of style. And I do love my Harvest Moon games. But I can't play that game for that long anymore because of how they have it. It gives me a headache. And I don't have to swing on vines in that game. I just have to plant some corn.
Well, I'll be getting it. And I'll be doing it without action replay because I'm sure there won't be an action replay.
With your Grashawat.
Yeah, those are the 3 starters. Grashawat, Firefox.
And Professor Cloud Frog.
Professor Cloud Frog, motherfuckers.
He's my favorite, but I'm still not getting him. The Pokemon already look like shit in this one. How much worse? They're going to look terrible. 6th gen. What?
We were talking about it, too. There's a lot of really cool fan art for the evolution of these 3 starters. And they look awesome. Like, people are making up some really cool concepts.
They're not going to look that good.
But they're not going to look that good.
No, they're going to look like crap. It's going to be like Oshawott, where you got 2 that kind of look the same, and then a weird dog seal unicorn Digimon. Whatever it was.
Hopefully I'll be able to import, like, a couple of my original 151
You're just
Pokemon.
going to action replay the whole thing. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know if there's an action replay yet for the 3DS, but maybe at that point there will be. But hell yeah, I'm going to action replay me another Bulbasaur, because I have to do that every single game. Bulbasaur, a Krabby.
Your Bulbasaur is going to look like shit. I'm sorry.
Well, it's kind of cel-shaded, too. I'm not that worried about it. But
It's going to look bad. You're going to get a headache.
once again,
You're going to get it, and you're going to go, Kelly, why'd you let me get this?
Once again, the graphics do not make the game.
They do. When it comes to Pokemons, they do.
Well, I'll be playing it.
Okay, fine. You can play it.
I won't let you watch.
And that's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. I will not play it. Don't even try to say that I will end up getting it, because I said the same thing about Black and White. Just don't even try.
Even if it comes out with the Pikachu Yellow Nintendo 3DS XL bundled with...
I will purchase it at that point and trade it in. I told you...
So technically you would have still bought it.
What was my reasoning? What was the one thing that would make me buy this game? The one thing.
If you can play as Team Rocket.
If I could play as Team Rocket. Literal Team Rocket. None of this plasma crap. Team Rocket. If I can join Team Rocket and go and cut off some Slowpoke tails, I will play this game. Sell them for $1 million a pop. I tried to buy some. They wouldn't let me.
The original game?
Yes.
Yeah.
In silver.
Oh, okay.
Gold and silver. You went down Slowpoke's well, and there's that shady guy outside. He's like, you want to buy some Slowpoke tails? Only $1 million. I'm like, fuck yes, give me that. And he's like, oh, you don't have enough money. So, asshole, I can't even earn $1 million in this game.
Yeah.
You only went to 99999.
So you're all about the older ones now, for sure.
Yes. I've always been about the older ones.
No, I mean, are you just going to rebeat White and Pokemon Black 2 over and over again?
No, I'm going to rebeat Soul Silver, because I think that was probably the best remake that they made. I will go so far as to say that it's the best remake that they made. Because the Pokemon could follow you around, and it was exactly like the old game. It was wonderful. And I will probably finally beat my old Red and Blue. I beat Yellow. I still haven't beaten Red and Blue.
And you still got Crystal, right?
Yeah, but I think the battery's dead on it.
Oh, okay.
I have to get another battery. But yes, I do. Crystal's an amazing game, too.
And I think that's it for this week. Can you think of anything else?
We did see Superman versus the Elite.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, we watched that on Netflix. That was kind of funny. Superman being super gay, pretending to like Lois, but not really liking her.
Yeah, the whole time you're like, nope, not thinking of Lois.
Lois is like, well, when you come home, da-da-da. I'm like, they're roomies. He's got to stay with his BFF.
Wow, did you like the movie? Did you enjoy it?
What I saw of it, I was sewing on a patch to a t-shirt at the time. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't as good as
All-Star
Superman. If they ever make Superman Red Sun,
yes.
I think that would be a great movie with Raccoon Hat Batman.
Russian Hat Batman.
Yes. But it was okay. What the movie focuses on, for those who don't know, is, Superman never kills. So even if it's a really big baddie, he won't kill. He'll just let them break out and keep stopping them over and over. Well, a group of people come who don't mind killing, and so the world's like, you know what, that's what we need. Superman's old school now. We need these people who will do what needs to be done. But then, of course, they take it too far, and the world sees that Superman's way really is the best way. And it was interesting to see how Superman took them down. I thought that was kind of cool, where, he really lets loose and makes them think that he's actually going to kill them. And Superman's like, you know what, I could do that so easily, but I would be disgusted with myself, because that's not what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I think, my favorite part of the whole movie was that ending.
Right.
Where, he's pretending to just lose his fucking mind. You see the one eye's all red and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he really lets loose with his powers. That was cool.
I did like the little villains that they brought forth. One of the big things that bugged me, I won't say the only thing, is I felt like they tried to make it for adults, but they tried to push a little too hard for it. So you hear a lot of the characters say damn a lot. You have one of them who makes a lot of sexual innuendos.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, guys, this is just a little too much. Like, make an adult movie. Don't make a kid's movie trying to be an adult movie. That's what it felt like to me. And that was, like you said, the ending was really good. But that was just kind of a nitpicky thing that bothered me.
And keeping on the subject of Superman, that one video by Screw Attack, Goku versus Superman, a lot of people were disagreeing with me on my Facebook. They're like, no, Goku should have won. He should have beat Superman. I'm like, well, did you not watch the half-hour statistics thing that they put before it? Like, if you look at both the characters and what they've each lifted in their respective books and movies and all that, Superman is clearly much stronger than Goku. And the little fight that they made up, it was a little silly how at the end Superman destroyed the Earth along
They
with
both
Goku.
destroyed the Earth, yes.
But like, that's all just for entertainment. Like, at the end of
Right.
the day, they compare the statistics, and they're like, well, this fight could have gone in any way. I think Superman would have taken down Goku way before he even went Super Saiyan 4. Even if he did go Super Saiyan 4, Superman would have just let go of that much more strength and taken down Goku.
Right. I don't think Superman is like Goku's typical villains when they're like, yeah, go ahead and power up and then we'll fight. Which is one thing that always bothered me about Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, he's just sitting there screaming, take him out. And they're like, yeah, I'll wait until he's fully powered up. You know, here, have the sensu beans. You feel better. One thing the video did point out, which totally would have tipped the scales, is if Goku had realized that he drew his power from the red sun, let's teleport, or from Yellow Sun.
Yeah, from Yellow Sun.
Yellow Sun. Let's teleport him to a place with a red sun, and then tables completely, 180 on that. Goku would have won in that instance.
Yeah, but even then the video pointed out that he could have teleported him to a place with blue sun or something, which so never really could work out in Goku's favor. Plus, he never would have figured that shit out. Goku's kind of an idiot, let's face it.
I've been telling you this for years. No, he's kind of smart.
He's smart in that he figures out his villains eventually, so...
Eventually.
But Superman...
After he gives them a sensu bean so they can power up all the way. That's not that smart.
I did like near the end when the video brought up Batman.
Yes.
So it's like, whatever argument you had, Batman will pretty much back up Superman in this fight. So your argument is invalid.
Batman would have beat them both.
Easily. And no one really ever doubts Batman.
Goku could have won that fight if he didn't go, oh, is that rock hurting you? Boom, I destroyed it. Because that was... Goku's stupid. He could have won the fight right there.
It was cool, though. I liked the video.
It was.
Especially because it came out in my favor. The cooler character, I think. But yeah, I think that's definitely now doing it for this week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have more comics next week, of course. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, @ReasonsI'mBroke. Let us know what made you broke this week. #ReasonsI'mBroke. Hopefully by this time, our podcast will have been on iTunes. Make sure to give us a rating. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see. And maybe we'll start doing some more giveaways. We've given away like Xbox 360 points in the past. Hopefully we can do more of that as more people start listening. But once again, thank you for listening. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
See you next week.